I want to say props to all you guys showing up here on a Friday afternoon. That's just the start of everything. That you guys got a lot ahead of you. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. First, once again, I truly want to say props to all you guys showing up here. The best investment you can make is truly in yourself. Like, these conferences will always be worth your time. So I'm glad all of you are here, and I want to get right into it. Start off by talking about what position of choice is. So Mike kind of mentioned briefly said position of choice. Let's see here. You guys see that now? We're good. Okay. All right. So basically what position of choice means, I had no clue what this thing meant whatsoever before Cutco. You guys can still see this, right? Okay. All right. So position of choice, it doesn't only apply to Cutco. I'm going to be relating it to Vector today, but it really applies to everything in life, whether that's in schools, other jobs, or even your personal life. And the idea of position of choice is to get yourself in the best position possible so you have choices. And the more options you have, the better. Imagine graduating college with more than enough job opportunities. The pressure isn't on you at that point. You've done your part. Now it's just about who can give you the best offer. And this is my last semester in school, so I like to think I'm in that position. So being in a position of choice means you've separated yourself from your peers, and that's such an awesome place to be in. You want to be in a position of choice for the rest of your life. And the best part about all that is you get to control your future and where you're heading. So you get to control whether or not you're in a position of choice. So let's talk about how you can get there. So for me, Cutco was truly the driving force of how I made it here to get into a position of choice, I'd like to say. And regardless of where you are, you're already on your way there because you chose to show up today. And to assure you keep up the momentum, a big thing you have to be is just consistent. Consistency is everything in this business. Be consistent in your effort with demos, managing, or whatever it may be for you. Right now I strive to be consistent, and personally for me, it's my personal growth, like reading, working out, talking to people that will uplift me. Just figure out what it is for you. And another thing that you should focus on is just separating yourselves from the rest. I love this term, separation season. Ed Milet, he showed this to me. He's a podcast guy. Separation season is here, guys. Your college years are the best time to separate yourselves from others. Choose to do what others won't do now so you can do what others can't do later. And, taking on challenges goes hand in hand with separating yourself. For example, I don't know if all of you guys have heard about the winter break program, but the winter break program and pushes like SLC, they're amazing opportunities to separate yourself. When most people will be back home doing a whole lot of nothing over winter break, that's the time you can step up and take the challenge to push yourself and separate yourself even more. And finally, just be different. What's the point of following the norm when majority of the world is honestly people are just struggling? One quote I live by is nobody has done something great without being different. And what we're doing here at Vector is truly different. So, before I joined Vector, if you would have asked me what position of choice it meant to me, I wouldn't have had an answer. At the time, I wasn't at a position of choice. I felt lost. I felt stuck. I felt like I had no control over where I was going in life. Luckily, I found Vector, and like every single one of you and your own managers, we all started as a rep. So let's go ahead and get into this. I know there's a lot going on the screen here. This probably looks familiar to some of you, but like I said, everyone started as a rep. And as a rep, you have a lot of choices. You have the choices to show up to Champs Club and conferences. You have choices to outsell and outwork others and succeed. From there, you have the choice to take on, once you get yourself in that position, once you've already established yourself as a hardworking sales rep, you have choices, more choices than you probably have ever even had. You could take on an assistant manager role, a sales manager role. You can go straight to branch manager. You become a pilot sales manager, even a district manager. And as you can see, that's only the managing side of things. On the sales side, you can become a service rep. You can join the events team, business or closing gifts consultant. Maybe you just want to do the realtor program, and there's more choices that aren't even mentioned. And a big thing is, you guys might be thinking here, It's like, Jack, like, I'm not going to work with Cutco after this semester after college, well, then your point, you might just be over here, like somewhere else. Maybe you're not Cutco after this. Maybe you're a little squiggly line over here where it's like, hey, maybe you're going to go after some other job or internship or whatever that may be. So the point is, everyone that's listening to this, they all started in the center as a rep. So I want to take you back to when I first started as a demo rep. Let's see here. So I started in 2019. Mike kind of mentioned some of this stuff, but I started following my freshman year of college, and during that time, I was heading in the wrong direction in my life. The best thing is, all it took was one summer with Cutco to truly flip my life around. So real quick, I just want to walk you through my path and, through my time with Cutco throughout college. So when I started, I was far from the best, but I was given an opportunity to prove myself. And that's all I needed. I never really fully succeeded at anything in my life, whether that was in school or sports. I even had my dad still tie my ties for me my first couple of years in Vector. Like, I wasn't the best at anything, so I worked through massive challenges my first summer as a rep, and I grew so much. And that's something I will never forget. And then in 2020, I was promoted to become an assistant manager for the Minneapolis office. So on top of selling all summer, I got the opportunity to work with and be a leader in an amazing office, one of the best offices in the nation. And then I decided I wanted to branch. I made a decision to branch once I saw some of my good friends, Elliot James, Alex Funk, Curtis Haugen, run very successful branch offices. And that really helped me in my belief that I could become a branch myself. So I ran a branch office in Fargo, North Dakota this summer, put Fargo on the map. And I was really scared, super anxious about it, but it was an unmatched experience that I will, it's going to have an impact on me for the rest of my life. So I just wanted to share that with you just a little bit to start off. What I want to do from here is go through, each position on how you can put yourself in a position of choice within each position, regardless of where you are. So let's start with the rep position. There's a number, or like really the number one way you put yourself in a position of choice as a rep is just show up. Show up to any and every event you can. My summer as a rep, I didn't show up to everything, but I would show up to what I could. And every single one of you here, made that decision to be here. And that, I'm going to tell you this, that does not go unnoticed by your managers. You're already in a position of choice from that moment on. So similar to showing up, if you haven't gone field training yet, go field training. I remember watching my manager, Colleen, sell an ultimate set my first summer. And what did that do for me? Gave me belief that I could sell an ultimate too. And I ended up doing that a couple of weeks after that. Field training is easier than it's ever been. You can literally watch the best reps in the region do a demo. That is so powerful. And consistency is really everything. I mentioned this earlier. It's huge as a rep. Doesn't mean you have to be the top rep every week. Just set demo goals and make sure you hit them. And one thing I learned this summer is, like, you find that if you're in the top 5, top 10 in your office every week as a rep, by the end of it, you're going to be one of the top reps in the office. And when you're in that position as a top rep, you have choices. So you finally should also just be spending some time learning. You heard this in training, talk to your manager all the time, go to Champs Club, learn from the best. Once you learn from the best, you're going to become the best. And finally, if you are a rep, act as if you're an assistant manager in the office. Offer to take people field training. Show up early, take lead above all other reps, and that's going to set you up for your next role inside or outside of Cutco. So many of the things that I kind of mentioned within, the rep slide, they go hand in hand with being an assistant manager. The true difference is you're just executing them at a higher level. So my favorite part of being an assistant manager was the idea that, I was one of the top people on my team. It made me feel a sense of purpose, and I was motivated. It really motivated me to be the best I could to help the team out. Whether you know it or not, you lead through your actions, and the reps on your team, they see your sales numbers. They notice when you show up. You mean a lot to your team, regardless on if you think you do. So similar to being a rep, show up the right way and be early. You get to learn how to build a team. You get to learn how to become great at recruiting and at interviews as if it were your own office. And as an AM, you get a hint of being able to develop people and help change their lives to the better. whether you can believe it or not, whether you believe you can coach somebody or help somebody get better, like just try it. You're not going to be good at it right away, but you will be someday. And trust me, I learned that this summer. And finally, like act as if you are the head manager in the office. You'll be in a great position to run an amazing office if you choose to one day. And I remember saying so many times that I didn't want to open an office during my assistant manager summer. And so with that mindset, like I really wasn't getting everything I could out of it. So, if I could go back, I'd put more sincere effort towards leading the team. I totally would. I probably, hopefully I would guess would have won the silver cup this year if I had that mindset as an assistant manager. So now let's go into branch opportunity. So basically, if you're given the opportunity to run a branch office, take it. Like becoming a branch manager is truly the best thing you can do as a college student. There is no better way to get yourself in a position of choice. And the thing is branching is super similar to being an assistant manager, but again, you're just executing at a much higher level. You're serving as the main leader and the mentor of your team. I got the chance to work with over 50 amazing representatives this summer. And you can see some of my team members in this picture. Working with that many people has taught me so much about how to run a successful business. But not only that, I made lifelong relationships with some of my reps on my team from this summer, and I can never, repay them for that. So one thing I learned is really like how to give more to others and not expect anything back from them. So you learn how to constantly pour out everything you have for your people, and it's going to pay off in the long run, even if you feel lost. Like this is such a valuable skill you can obtain through branching. Once you're able to do this, more people will be attracted to you. So more opportunities will come your way. And a huge tip I have for all of you is start your office as early as you can. So I opened my office mid-April when I was in school. I still had like 3 weeks of school left, and my office sold $0 my first 3 weeks in May. And my first month did not go the way I hoped. I was constantly making mistakes. I was frustrated, but I chose to never give up. I fully committed to controlling everything I could. And the best thing is, thankfully, since I opened in early May or early April, I had a month and a half worth of mistakes and learning curves that I was able to take into the months of June and July. And we absolutely never looked back. It was over after that. So starting early had a huge impact on our team this summer. But honestly, when I think about the biggest driving force, it was the appreciation and the love I gave to my people. It took me a few months to learn this, but when I did, it not only made my people feel great and want to be a part of the team longer, it made me feel so good too. And here's what I mean by giving appreciation. Like just find ways to tell your people they're awesome, even if it's hard to find reasons. Tell them how much you're inspired by their hard work. Tell them that they're one order to get away from the number one spot in the nation, whatever that may be. Like little things like that make such a big difference. And it makes just you and the people around you just so much tighter. And it really was, that was the biggest thing for our office. But finally, just reach out to the people that are beating you. Majority of my tactics and strategies this summer, they were developed from the best managers in my division. I didn't come up with any of it. I just was reaching out and calling people and talking to people. And I've always been that type of person that just wants to get stuff on my own. I learned pretty quickly that's not going to work as a manager. So reach out to the best and create the best relationships in order to position yourself to dominate the summer. So just finally, I kind of want to talk about why you should consider branching, why you should consider management position. Some of you are probably sitting here, you never even thought about a management position, which is totally fine. I was in the same boat, and I'm not here to tell you that you should manage, but I just want to explain the opportunity to you. So to start, the managers in Vector, the people that you're surrounded by, are so influential. I always felt my whole life I truly never had a friend group that really wanted me to thrive and succeed. And I found at Vector, like everyone is cheering for you. Everyone's on your side. And I'm so fortunate to have that great support system throughout my time in college. And that's all thanks to my time here. So once I joined Leadership Academy, I was not only able to influence and lead, people in Vector, I actually started to have an impact on my friends outside of Vector. This was so cool. Like, honestly, there's no better feeling when one of your friends tells you that the reason they're growing and making better decisions is because they saw the changes that you made. And on top of that, as a manager, you get to directly impact and assist in others' success. And honestly, like having a new rep sell a homemaker feels so much more rewarding of a feeling than, you know, making a big sale yourself. So I just want to kind of conclude everything real quick here. Basically, you will grow, like as a manager, you will grow and develop yourself into the person that you probably never thought you could be. But it's not as simple as it sounds. In order to grow, you're gonna have growing pains. So managing is not easy. You'll want to quit. You want to give up. You might cry. This last summer was the best summer of my life, but it was also the hardest summer of my life. And in order to get in a position of choice, you know, in order to set yourself up to live your best life, you truly have to put yourself through challenges and hardships to grow into the person you hope to become. So my biggest tip to you all, do things out of the norm. Don't follow what everybody else does. Be a leader, not a follower. Be the chess player, not the chess piece. Take control of your life and put yourself in a position of choice. And to do that, take action now by absolutely dominating this push. Thank you.